The masked man.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I think that was there from the last time, but I guess I'll ask something. Yeah, Jeff, I mean, it's only been 3 days, so the easy question is, who are some of the guys that seem to be standing out for you? Obviously, a little bit of a mix of older and younger guys, but who have you noticed so far?
Yeah, so far, guys that have really kind of jumped out, of course, Kobe Jones, with his leadership and athletic ability, has really done a great job out there leading the group. And Marquise has done an outstanding job providing leadership and looking well, looking athletic when we see him out there. And then Jaden Crumedy, has really done a great job. And then I think the sleeper of the group has kind of been Aaron Odom, and really providing a little bit of depth on the defensive line as far as, what he's bringing to the table. He's doing a lot of learning, but shows a lot of promise there.
We'll go ahead and go to Paul Jones. Paul, go ahead.
Coach, obviously, it's kind of a new defense for some of these players, but talk about the role and how much you are able to coach guys like Jordan Davis and Tyler Sweet at that Sam linebacker position, since, essentially they basically line up as a defensive end in some looks.
Well, we've got a unique situation because Coach Brock is in charge of the Sam backers. And so, we kind of coordinate with each other on a lot of things, obviously, especially when they become part of the defensive line. But Coach Brock works with those guys, and they've done a really good job learning the defense and playing from all over. And it's kind of neat to see those guys get lined up and add into the mix from every which angle.
Any other questions for Coach? Let's go ahead and go to Ben Portnoy. Ben, go ahead.
Hey, Jeff, I was just curious. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but with sort of how fast Mike's offense does move and how much that kind of makes the turnaround quick for you guys on the defensive end, how have you guys kind of prepared for that, and how have you kind of prepared your group for that?
It's just like the offense. You kind of prepare on the fly, Obviously, there's a lot of learning. We didn't have the spring, and so, you miss out on those opportunities as far as getting things on film and getting a chance to sit in the meeting room with the players and go over the film with them. Of course, we had some opportunities to do some of those things over the summer, but again, we didn't have film of our defense, of the kids running our defense. And so we're kind of just hitting the ground and we're hitting it running, doing as much as we can and trying to accelerate the learning process as quick as possible.
Just quick follow-up. I mean, in that vein, with not having spring and stuff, how conditioned are you guys, and what kind of shape have they been in just the first couple of days?
Obviously there's a little bit of a fatigue there, but they've done a great job. Coach Brown and his crew have really done a great job over the summer and getting them prepared, for this segment. And obviously, it's kind of treating it like a preseason camp, fall camp type of setup. So a lot of it is a lot of running during individual, a lot of running from drill to drill, a lot of running, obviously, pursuing the ball, and that's where you're going to get your conditioning further going.
Go ahead and go back to Paul.
Coach, you got a lot of new faces and freshmen on the defensive line, whether it's interior or at defensive end. Just kind of, I know it's only been a few days of camp, but your first impressions of guys like King Ani and Jack Harris and Armandus Cooley and Javon Banks.
Banks is the surprise freshman. He's got a lot of strength. He's got some quickness coming off the ball. He's learning a lot right now, and his head's kind of spinning. But he's going to be a pleasant surprise. It'll be interesting to see how much he can absorb and whether he'll be in a position to help us out this year or not. But really pleased with him. And Cooley's a big guy that can run and that can move, and so really excited about what he's bringing to the table as well, as far as from a size standpoint, a kind of an anchor in the middle, so to speak. And of course, you got to have a great one in the middle that can kind of hold the point for you and really kind of control some things. Some of the other guys like King Ani really working hard, learning the defense and learning his body and getting himself ready to go. Sherman Timms has done a great job. His head's spinning, but we're throwing everything we can at him, and he's absorbing it and and putting forth some great effort. You know, he's got a lot to learn and that sort, but you know, we got a lot of time and a lot of opportunities, and so we got to just kind of keep him going.
Go ahead and throw it over to Steve Robertson. Steve, go ahead.
Coach, I know a lot of it was virtual with Zoom and everything. You know, how much of that do you think they've been able to absorb and then kind of implement and execute out on the field? I mean, in hindsight, do you think that was successful?
I think it was successful. I think it was a learning curve for me, obviously, of course. Really, I believe it's a learning curve for everybody. And you know, our guys, they love football and being away from it in the spring, you know, getting a chance to do some of the Zoom meeting stuff in the summertime. It was an opportunity for them to, you know, kind of get back to football, to get back to some sense of a new normal. With everything else that's going on in the world right now, and so they really kind of grasped it, and again, it was our first time, and so a lot of it, you know, you can tell they were paying attention on that Zoom meeting because they wanted to pick up on it. They wanted to make sure that they didn't fall behind once we got to this segment to where we could actually get out on the field. And so it's been good because then now it's been a refresher, so to speak, and the light bulb is clicking a little bit, and so you just tweak the finer details of it.
Got time for one more. We'll go ahead and give it to Joel.
Coach, I don't know how you'll be able to answer this after just 3 days or how much you guys have gone against them, but just what's your impression as a D-line coach as to what the offensive line has looked like?
Oh, I tell you what, those guys are big and they can move and they got great personality. You know, they're a fun group to be around. We do our one-on-ones and getting a chance to just hear them communicate with each other and working with Coach Miller. They've done an outstanding job. But some big guys that can move. They're picking up on the offense very well, the run schemes, the pass protections and such. And it's a fun group. So I know Coach Miller is excited about working with them. I know they're going to help allow our guys to get even better because they're big, they're long, they're athletic. And obviously working on our pass rush against them, working on our run defense against them. Iron sharpens iron, as they say, and it's gonna do nothing but help us get even better on the defensive side. So it's really exciting.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys for what you do.